Hi guys, so New Year is coming up and it's so important to set the new goals. I think this is good in life and in business because every year we used to have this ritual thing where we used to write down all the things that we thought would happen for the next year, as well as the things that we were grateful that happened for the previous year. And we'd put it in a box and we would open it every single year and see exactly what had happened. And me and my sister and my brother, some of the things we had written in there was absolutely crazy, like, oh, I'm going to be with so and so when you're a teenager, or I'm going to be president, or something ridiculous. But yeah, they were like obviously crazy goals, and there was also realistic goals, and I think that's important to have a bit of both. So when goal setting, I think firstly you should start with personal. Where do you want to be at the end of next year? What do you want to achieve? How do you want your lifestyle to look? Do you want to be free and be traveling the world, or do you want to be working on your business and making things even stronger? Where do you want your business to be? So if you start with those questions, I think that will give you the base of where you need your business to go. So next then is setting goals for your business. Now, short-term goals will be things like every month and every quarter that you'll be looking at. Sales, for example, how much has come in, how many accounts that you've secured. There's also, I think, important points to raise on how streamlined you've made the processes. So some of my goals will be streamlining processes like QuickBooks, making sure that the newsletter is going out on time, without having to spend half an hour on it. So things like that I need to streamline more by the end of next year so that my time is used in the most effective way. Then of course you've got the side of goals for cash flow. And this can be very, very different because obviously when you secure a big account, cash flow can really drop because you're manufacturing these big orders. But then it can also increase suddenly in 1 month because you've got that money back in. So it's important to set your cash flow out each week and know exactly what's coming in and going out. And then finally, in terms of goal setting, I think there needs to be the long-term goals of where you want your team to be. So how many members of staff do you want on board? What do you want them doing? You need to be also setting their goals as well, because it's okay setting your own goals, which probably cannot be met if your staff aren't hitting their targets. So it's important to sit down and go through each one of their goals and the strategy of the company going forward, and check on these each month or each quarter, to make sure that you're all on track.
Perfect. And then any final, how do you set goals with your team?
So setting goals with the team, firstly I would do the goals by myself, to make sure that everything was in place for the strategy, the marketing and the sales. Those would be the first things. I would then set how many accounts that I expect them to have on board, how much new business. Then I would firstly sit down the team as a whole together to say exactly what the targets are over the next year, and what they thought about that, and whether they thought that was achievable as well. And if they didn't think that was achievable, I would say, well, why? What reason do you have that it wouldn't be achievable? And they could come back and say resources. And that's where I could explain to them, well, this is my actual plan of, yes, okay, we'll start with 3 people now, but by the middle of the year we'll have an extra 2 people. And this will then give them the confidence to be able to hit their targets. After that, I would sit down with each individual one for the beginning of the year, and I try to do that only once a year to be able to do the goals. And that would be sitting down with them and expanding on the goals, making sure they knew exactly where they were going, and making sure that they had their own targets put in place, so where they think they should be. Because you can give them a target, but if they don't know where they should be, how are they ever going to achieve it? Keeping to the set goals is always a struggle. They say you have to do something enough to make it become a habit, and I think that's really, really important. If you keep on having your team meetings, and if you keep to the deadlines that you've set, it's going to work. And I constantly have that problem because I constantly push things back and etc. But that is one of my goals for next year. My goal is to keep the team on track, be able to actually sit down with them and strategize on our next year's goals and how to achieve them and how to keep them. And how to keep them is checking up on them, making sure that I've set little posts in between so that they actually are getting quick wins along with the long-term goals. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll be back with more tips soon. Make sure you sign up to my newsletter, as there's lots of tips on there, and if you follow me on Julianne Ponan, and that is across social media, Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. See you guys later. Bye.